Hi there, I'm Jennifer.
I'm Reed. Welcome.
Welcome to another Faith at Home listening practice. We're in for a bit of a different experience today. As we prepare for this reading, we don't do a lot of advance preparation except to read through the psalm for the day and to pay attention, listening for where would the natural breaks be, what would make for a good listening practice. And as we listen to this psalm today, we really felt like there was no way to break it up, but it's long.
Wow, 28 verses.
Not super long. So we'd like to invite you to find something to write on and write with. We're going to try a little bit of a different process today.
Yeah.
How will it go?
We'll take turns reading, but we're going to read roughly a third and a third of the psalm. We'll take turns doing that. But in between each third, we're going to pause and think what we've heard and have been listening to hear what God was bringing out to us. So a word or a phrase in that section. And we'll do that 3 times. And when we've read through it all, we'll pause momentarily, and then we will think of an invitation. Not think of an invitation. We will remember what we've heard, and God will give us an invitation.
So listen along with me as Reed begins the reading for us today, and we're paying attention for something that stands out to us in these first 9 verses.
Psalm 73, in the Net version. Certainly God is good to Israel and to those whose motives are pure. But as for me, my feet almost slipped. My feet almost slid out from under me. For I envied those who are proud, as I observed the prosperity of the wicked. For they suffer no pain. Their bodies are strong and well fed. They are immune to the trouble common to us. They do not suffer as other people do. Arrogance is their necklace, and violence covers them like clothing. Their prosperity causes them to do wrong. Their thoughts are sinful. They mock and say evil things. They proudly threaten violence. They speak as if they rule in heaven and lay claim to the earth.
What stands out to me as I listen to those verses is that sense that the person who wrote this prayer poem felt like they almost slipped when envy came into their path. So when they were comparing themselves against someone else, there was this moment where, disaster almost came. That really stands out to me in that section. What stands out to you?
I guess just that whole idea about, these evil people seem to have no problems. And I can relate to it. I just go, oh yeah. You see bad people get ahead, or people that treat other people terribly, and they don't seem to get any comeuppance. I want comeuppance. That sort of thing. So that stuck out to me. I said, man, I can relate to this. This is something that I think maybe many of us have seen in the world or in our relationships or whatever in life. You go, how come they aren't very nice and yet they get away with everything? So that can be discouraging. So that was what stuck out to me anyway. Something that I could really relate to.
Yeah, very human feelings.
Mm-hmm.
The next section is from verse 10 to verse 20. And it says, "Therefore, they have more than enough food to eat, and they even suck up the water of the sea. They say, 'How does God know what we do? Is the Most High aware of what goes on?' Well, take a good look. This is what the wicked are like. Those who always have it so easy and get richer and richer. I concluded, surely in vain I have kept my motives pure and maintained a pure lifestyle. I suffer all day long and am punished every morning. If I had publicized these thoughts, I would have betrayed your people. When I tried to make sense of this, it was troubling to me. Then I entered the precincts of God's temple and understood the destiny of the wicked. Surely you put them in slippery places, and you bring them down to ruin. How desolate they become in a mere moment. Terrifying judgments make their demise complete. They are like a dream after one wakes up. Oh Lord, when you awake, you will despise them." What comes out of that for you?
Well, I think it was along the same lines as my previous one thing that I noticed. And another thing I could relate to is that, that why am I bothering being a good guy? Why don't I just do what they're doing? They seem to do fine. In fact, they seem to do better. Why don't I just do that? Wouldn't that be good? I mean, good for me anyway. Maybe I would also suffer, but that's, when do I get mine? I want mine. I don't publicize it, just like the writer. I don't publicize that. But, I feel that way sometimes. Jealous, and, feeling like, well, why don't I just, throw my own morals and whatever, ethics out the window to get what I want. And so that stuck out.
That stands out to you.
Yeah.
The piece that stands out to me is that they wicked have enough food to eat, and they even suck up the water of the sea. And that just makes me aware of those spaces in my life and in the world where even what's supposed to belong to everybody is, sort of co-opted by certain people of power or influence or whatever. And that's what stands out to me in that section.
And the last section, I'll read it. Listen now. Yes, my spirit was bitter, and my insides felt sharp pain. I was ignorant and lacked insight. I was as senseless as an animal before you. But I am continually with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me by your wise advice, and then you will lead me to a position of honor. Whom do I have in heaven but you? On earth there is no one I desire but you. My flesh and my heart may grow weak, but God always protects my heart and gives me stability. Yes, look, those far from you die. You destroy everyone who is unfaithful to you. But as for me, God's presence is all I need. I have made the sovereign Lord my shelter, as I declare all the things you have done.
Mm-hmm. The line that stands out to me from that section is, I am continually with you. You hold my right hand. There's all this other stuff, right? Like I was ignorant, I lacked insight. That's true of me. And yet I was continually with God, and God continued to hold my hand.
Stuck out to me was that verse, that line, my flesh, my heart may grow weak, but God always protects my heart and gives me stability. I just thought that was very, hopeful and encouraging on the one hand after my previous feelings about my own, emotional context at times. And this was just another sort of a salve, I guess. That even, I may not be as strong as I'd like, but God is always there to protect me and to be with me. So that was what stuck out to me. So let's just take 3 breaths to pause and to sort of savor and cherish what we've already heard, and to listen together for what the invitation of the Divine Family might be for us today from what we've heard already. In the brief moments of silence, is there something you notice as an invitation? I think for me, the invitation was that throughout the passage I was very connected to the emotional side of, the seeing suffering and being unable to do anything about it, and then feeling my own suffering, not seeming to be able to do anything about it, and being embarrassed about it. The invitation is to come back to God. That it comes down to that last line that I noted, and it was that God always protects my heart and gives me stability. And that hopefulness there, that given all those other things, my own jealousy or envy of those people getting ahead, which I don't think are good people or something, and why don't I just do that? Those sorts of feelings of, as I say, envy and desire for something that that doesn't belong to me. Even in that weakness, God is there and will protect my heart and give me stability. So that's the invitation, to come to God for that love and cherishing of my heart, I guess, protecting my heart and giving me stability.
I hear a similar invitation. When I put my eyes on, put my focus on other people, then I become very unbalanced. Envy and jealousy are a huge part of what happens, both in thinking other people are getting it better than me, but also that inner critic, the voice inside my head that's so unkind, can get really loud when that happens. So the invitation for me is to take my eyes off other people and to turn my eyes towards my relationship with the divine. So I think the phrase in this psalm was coming to the temple. We are sheltering in place right now, and if we haven't created a temple, a place of worship and connection and relationship with the divine in our homes before now's the time. We need to find those spaces in our everyday lives. That's the invitation for me, is to keep turning my eyes back towards that everyday relationship with God instead of turning my eyes towards other people whose stories I don't actually know in full, as it turns out. I wonder what you notice both about this psalm. What do you hear as words and phrases that stand out to you? What do you notice as an invitation? Would you take a moment to share that with us? Because we'd really love to hear what you are noticing in your conversation with God. We also sort of wonder, how did this feel to do a listening practice a little bit differently?
Yeah, we do it. This is the first time we've done it this way, so I know I was slightly uncomfortable. I like things the same, I guess, but they're doing something different. Yeah.
Thanks for coming along with us on a journey that maybe was slightly different than what you're used to, or maybe this was your first time to join us today. But we're delighted you've been here with us today, whether this is new or old to you. Thanks for being here.
We'll see you again.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.